and only MC himself, Redman. I'm loving the site. I'm loving the weekly drops, man, that you're doing over instrumentals, man. What inspired you to do that?
I don't know, bro. You know what? The world, like, you know what it is? It was because, because I'm going through some legal issues, right? With family members where I had to postpone my album for like a couple of years and shit. And I was skydiving a lot, and I was posting my skydiving jumps on IG and shit. And I said, and I was like, I kind of felt in my heart that people was like, all right, Redman, we rooting you in the sky, but we want to hear some music, nigga. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I felt that for myself. So I said, you know what? I started looking at things with a different perspective and shit, because, we tend to get grown and shit and want to do, and we are grown men now. We grown as men, we got families, we got things we have to worry about in our everyday life. Not worry about things, but things to do in our everyday life where it could get a little hectic for us to get back to them bars. So I had wrote some bars a while ago. I was just stashing, and I was just like, you know what? Let me create something Jack Boy beats, a Jack and Everybody beat, and spitting a verse to it. In and out, something clean, something fun and quick, and for content. And I was like, I'm gonna let them know I'm not just skydiving, I got them bars, man.
Yeah, you always had bars, man. I want to take it back just a little bit, man. Classic, one of your classic albums, Muddy Waters, all-time favorite of mine. What was the vibe like, if you could recall, recording that album and putting it out? Because that, to me, I felt like, okay, if people didn't notice Redman from Wet the Album and There's a Darkside, they're going to notice him now.
You know what, I think is when, like, right around before we was working on, around when we was working on Muddy Waters' album, East Sermon, he had moved to Atlanta. And so we was back and forth in Atlanta a lot. And like back then, like hip hop was like sprouting roots crazy all over the place, right? And we was tapped into that circuit. And it was just the vibe of that Atlanta, that 90s freaknik Atlanta vibe, where it wasn't no really like social media or nothing like that. We tapped into the vibe of Atlanta, the vibe of us coming back here, and once we caught the solid vibe of, yeah, this is where we want to go, it was like hands down and fun, because I came from There's a Darkside before that, and you know what? I just started listening to that album a month ago, like just to hear where the fuck I was at. And that's not one of my favorite albums, everyone know that. But it's women favorite albums, that's crazy to me, right? So it was like a new empowerment of myself, a new enlightenment of myself with Muddy Waters. Like, okay, I'm not using the drugs like I was on There's a Darkside. I'm just on some getting in shape kind of shit, marijuana, and really putting on for my city and moving extra notches up the hip-hop ladder, because I was working a lot. I was working extremely. That's why I'm able to eat off the fruits of my labor now. So it was the whole empowerment, the whole enlightenment of me going to the next level where God wanted me to.
Does anybody in today's climate capture your attention, or you look at it and say, you know what, that's a dude or that's a young lady that I definitely want to get behind or I definitely rock with?
Oh man, I wish I had my phone. There's so many people out there, like youngins from my city. I would definitely, they already know Big Unk is here whenever they need him. But there's so many cats out there, like I would be mad as hell to say one name and not say all of their names. But it's it's definitely some young cats out there that got the frequency, if you will. And I mean by that is, they get, a lady said to me on the plane one day, an older white lady too, she said, just sitting by you and see how you address people on the plane and how your candor and your character is, she says, you get it. And I said, what do you mean? She said, you get it, the respect of life, the fruits of life, respect, love, peace, harmony. It's a lot of rap cats out there that's new that understand that frequency, and I would fuck with them. I just can't say off the back right now because there's so many, but I know one of them is the hoodies. Like that's fucking my brother, DJ K Capri. Sorry about that hitting your shoulder. Yo,
that's Redman. You can do that.
Yo, he just produced the album that just came out. The hoodies, they got them bars right now. You should definitely tune in. My little youngin', Lil D Rap. like Lil D from, he's from our East Coast, and he's been a youngin'. We've been watching him since he was like 16. Check him out on the IG, Little D Raps, the hoodies. Torre always barring up. There's so many I can go to, but tune in my IG. You'll see me on there posting them or something like that.
Lastly, man, you've always given respect to West Coast. You always work with West Coast artists. You always work with the West Coast funk. What was intriguing about the West Coast to Redman?
You know what it is? The West Coast. First of all, niggas thought I was from West Coast with my first album, and we did. Yeah, absolutely. And because they thought EPMD was from the West Coast, so they thought I fell right in that line with them. But the West Coast music, the funk, nobody wasn't doing funk on the East Coast, and their sound was more bigger than the East Coast because they actually used a lot of instruments. Like y'all, well, it kind of evened out now, but especially back in the day, y'all studio sessions didn't just require records, a sampling machine, and maybe a keyboard. Y'all studio sessions required a guitar, bass player, drum player, keyboard player, another keyboard player, and making some real beats, some real smacker live shit. So that was one of the things I admired about the West Coast was their sound. And when Dre and them came in and elevated that shit far as the mixing, and I go sit with my big brother Battlecat, and I sit there and how he just go over with me his sound and each equipment piece he have, board piece he have, what it's used for and how intricate his sound is. It just takes me back and looking, tapping into the NWA because they one of my favorite groups. So their sound was always big, and I used to be like, yo, these motherfuckers got music over here. So the funk, the quality of sound, and the movement is what I love about the West Coast.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You had, like you said, Dr. Dre, DJ Quick, Daz, Warren G, Battlecat. I mean, the list goes on.
Hey, yo, and plus, when I first started coming out here, right, no big facts, I didn't even know how to get up here to Hollywood. Only place I knew how to get to was Compton. I used to go right from the airport to Compton, and I got off right. I got on the 91 freeway and got off at Compton College, at that exit right there. And my boy Mel-Low, I did an album for him, Mel-Low. He from out there, I think it's Schoolyard Crip or something like that. But that's my boy Mel-Low. I miss you, bruh. Like, tap in with your big bruh. Let's tap in with some music. But yeah, I used to know how to get to Compton before I even knew how to get up here. You know, love Cali.